3 prime morning eats to rapidly detox your kidneys and banish poison swiftly. You're sticking to the rules, sipping plenty of fluids, slashing sodium, but you rise daily, sensing dreadful, inflamed limbs, foggy thoughts, that odd burden that persists. The reality is, your kidneys are swamped by rubbish, and the day's opening meal is the spot to shift it. These 3 kidney-purifying choices aren't just passing crazes. They're grounded in genuine investigations from spots like the University of Bergen and the University of Maine. Daily, when you ignore this, urea plus creatinine build in your veins. That worn-out vibe isn't from years adding up. It's harmful stuff gathering as you slumber. Now, the twist. Lots of individuals ace the opening pair, yet they botch it via a sneaky slip in the final one. Ignore that, and you could aggravate matters. Stay tuned. So, what's the opening meal capable of granting your kidneys respite? It's likely stashed in your storage now. Basic, affordable, and the majority lack awareness of its actual bodily impact. Sure, I refer to hearty grain mush paired with simmered fruits. Steer clear of rapid envelopes, stuffed with sweeteners. Bypass the seasoned kinds resembling sweets. Merely straightforward flattened kernels, boiled gradually, finished with a gentle simmered pair, nothing else. This succeeds since kernels hold beta-glucan, a meltable thread acting as a mop within your bowels. It snatches ammonia, along with nitrogen scraps ahead of them, reaching your circulation. Your kidneys stay oblivious. They're locked in your bowel path and cleared via the alternate route. Still, it's more intricate. Beta-glucan sustains positive microbes in your bowels. Once those microbes process it, they create brief-chain oils that diminish swelling all over your frame. Kidneys, too. Diminished swelling equals enhanced straining. Enhanced straining equals no poison accumulation. Experts at Norway's University of Bergen performed an experiment in 2016. They got folks consuming grain mush each day over 8 weeks. The discoveries were astonishing. Waste urease amounts fell 18%. That's the catalyst, generating ammonia in bowels. Less ammonia signifies your kidneys escape pounding from garbage they need to sift. Among those with persistent kidney troubles, they noted upgraded blood potassium plus protein figures. Basically, the organs operated more capably. Now, address what's more in this serving. Kernels likewise include avenanthramides. These fighters against oxidation tackle radical strain, a key factor harming kidney units across time. Fruits deliver pectin, extra meltable thread, combined with innate elements aiding bowel wall soundness. Solid bowels, pleased kidneys. The bond is tighter than many grasp. Here's the prep. Grab half a measure of flattened kernels. Boil in fluid or plain nut drink. As it bubbles, simmer a little fruit using a touch of spice. Zero sweeteners, zero nectar. Permit the fruit's own sugars to handle it. Finish the kernels with that fruit. Complete. Have this 3 or 4 dawns weekly. Avoid excess. Half-measure dry kernels each time is ample. Fast alert prior to advancing. I'd enjoy discovering your viewing spot and present kidney situation. Enter superb if addressing kidney issues, or boost if aiming to prevent. Plus, if this reshapes your morning meal perspective, tap subscribe so future stuff doesn't escape you. Now, acquisition hints. Pick metal sliced or flattened kernels. Overlook any marked rapid. Those wraps brim with bonus sugars, plus salt, that'll damage your kidneys quicker than aid. And no matter what, skip adding nectar or tree sap. That sugar rush pressures kidneys and voids the aim. See, certain of you view grain mush as bland. I comprehend, but suppose I revealed the subsequent meal adds vivid shades, snap, and radical busting strength that strikes kidneys from an entirely fresh direction. Fine. Discuss an item that truly appears appealing on your surface. Visualize tiers of velvety curdled milk, ripe small fruits, plus a dash of kernels piled in a vessel. It's the type of meal making you sense life's arranged. And the top aspect, it toils extra to guard your kidneys as you relish each morsel. What I mean is a small fruit kernel strata. This supplies major radical busting might to the setup, rendering it among prime sound morning picks for kidneys. Small fruits teem with colorants, innate parts your frame applies to battle radical strain. Consider radical strain as erosion accumulating on alloy inside your kidneys. That erosion harms the small sifters named nephrons that purify your circulation. Colorants halt that harm prior to commencement. But this becomes captivating. Experts at Maine's University executed a probe in 2014, examining folks with metabolic issues, which commonly precede kidney woes later. They placed people on a small fruit-boosted regimen and monitored occurrences. The outcomes were striking. Their organ-straining pace, fundamentally how effectively kidneys remove garbage, balanced out. That indicates their kidneys began operating superior, not inferior, not unchanged, but genuinely advancing. Now, address curdled milk. Basic, dense curdled milk introduces helpful microbes to the blend, and these are the positive organisms maintaining your bowel soundness. Your bowels and kidneys communicate beyond what you'd imagine. When bowel organisms are even, they make fewer poisons that kidneys must manage. That's what medics label the bowel-kidney link, and it's a massive component in holding garbage amounts low. The kernels in this strata contribute an additional level of thread that seizes nitrogen garbage in your digesting setup and guides it out ahead of it, turns into a kidney issue. Amid the radical fighters, helpful microbes, and thread, you're targeting kidney backing from triple paths simultaneously. Here's the assembly. Take a single measure of basic, dense curdled milk. Stack in half measure of ripe small fruits. Dash a spoon of flattened kernels above. That's the foundation. Have this 3 or 4 dawns weekly, and you're supplying your kidneys steady aid without complication. Now, acquisition hints are key. Constantly select basic, non-sweetened, dense curdled milk. The seasoned varieties brim with bonus sugars that'll surge your circulation sugar and add burden to your kidneys. Scan the tag. If sugar ranks in initial trio components, replace it on the rack. And here, I realize arranging meals can seem like constant work when attempting to shield your kidneys. That's precisely why I compiled a full kidney-suitable eating blueprint with these 3 morning options, precise measures, acquisition rosters, and a 7-day setup strategy. You can pull it directly from my digital marketplace and get all arranged for you. Zero speculation, zero pressure, just outcomes. The connection is below. Here's the matter, however. The opening 2 morning picks we've addressed center on thread and radical fighters, which are mighty, but the final one adopts an entirely distinct tactic by handling protein caliber, sans burdening your kidneys with phosphorus. And that's where the majority stumble without awareness. You require protein at dawn, your tissues demand it, your vigor demands it, and yes, your kidneys demand it as well. But here's the warning. Most protein origins arrive packed with phosphorus. And when phosphorus gathers in your circulation, it begins hardening your circulation paths. That's an elaborate term for rendering your vessels rigid and fragile, which is poor for anybody attempting to maintain their kidneys in fair condition. That's why this final morning pick is a complete shift. What I mean is a plant-based clear egg fold. Clear eggs rank among the purest protein origins you can ingest. They possess what's termed elevated usability protein, signifying your frame really employs nearly everything instead of converting it to garbage. And here's the surprise. Clear eggs possess the minimal phosphorus to protein proportion of any edible. You're acquiring the benefits sans the clutter that blocks your setup. A trial experiment from the United Kingdom and Canada in 2011 examined this. Experts had cleansing therapy subjects ingest clear eggs each day over 6 weeks. What they discovered was astonishing. Circulation phosphorus amounts fell by 0.9 milligrams per unit. That may not appear substantial, but when discussing averting path hardening and holding your kidneys from worsening quicker, that figure is enormous. Now, address leucine. It's an amino element abundant in clear eggs, and it performs a task most ignore. Leucine aids sustained tissue volume sans, generating an acidic burden in your frame. When you ingest much scarlet flesh or full ova, your frame must labor extra to manage the acids those edibles produce, and that adds burden to your kidneys. Clear eggs bypass all that. You obtain the tissue backing sans assaulting your sifters, which are the small units within your kidneys performing the major work. Here's how you create this morning pick, correct? Stir 3 to 4 clear eggs in a container. Add in minced colorful veggies, bulbs, and ripe greens, such as basil or mint leaves. Prepare it in a splash of plant oil at moderate warmth until it firms. Bend it, dish it, and you're finished. Have this 3 to 4 dawns weekly, and you're supplying your kidneys the protein they require, sans the phosphorus excess. Swift acquisition hint: select natural ova if affordable. And here's the major one: avoid including curd or employing full ova, assuming you're improving it. The center and milk products reintroduce phosphorus directly, and you've merely voided the entire goal. Now observe, these 3 morning picks each address kidney wellness from a totally distinct path. Kernels manage poison attachment via thread. Small fruits supply radical fighters that shield your sifters. Clear eggs provide pure protein, sans the phosphorus strike. But here's what unites them all, and it's a detail most overlook. What unites these 3 morning picks boils down to a selection of elements that your kidneys are truly craving, if you know it or not. Let's begin with thread, since this is where most confuse it. Thread doesn't merely maintain regularity, it's actually seizing garbage in your bowels ahead of it ever accesses your circulation. When the positive organisms in your digesting setup degrade thread, they yield brief chain oils. These oils reduce swelling all through your entire frame, and they likewise assist your bowels capture nitrogen garbage, so your kidneys avoid handling it. That's why the kernels and the strata deliver such impact. They're handling half the kidney's task ahead of the morning pick, even reaches your belly. Now, address radical fighters, particularly those in small fruits. Radical harm is what erodes your nephrons gradually. Consider it as placing alloy outside in precipitation. It corrodes, degrades, ceases functioning. Radical fighters are the guarding layer that prevents that corrosion from starting initially. When you're ingesting small fruits routinely, you're granting your kidney sifters a battling opportunity to remain whole rather than gradually disintegrating. And here's where protein caliber enters. Most individuals assume additional protein means superior wellness, but that's not the case when kidneys participate. Superior protein, like that from clear eggs, signifies your frame employs nearly all for tissue mending and vigor sans producing heaps of remaining garbage. Minimal phosphorus signifies you're not hardening your circulation paths while attempting to develop power. That equilibrium is all. You're backing your frame sans, compelling your kidneys into overstraining, which is essentially when they labor so intensely they begin harming themselves. Here's the matter. When you examine the investigations, the figures confirm this. That 18% reduction in waste from kernels, that's fewer ammonia striking your kidneys. The balanced straining paces from small fruits, that's your kidneys truly operating superior, not inferior. The almost 1 milligram per unit reduction in phosphorus from clear eggs, that's averting the type of path harm that creeps on individuals and devastates their kidneys, sans alert. If this connects, and you're beginning to grasp how these morning picks truly function, do me a favor and tap that approval icon. It could appear minor, but it assists this content connect with another person experiencing kidney pressure and lacks idea where to commence. Now, here's what most ignore. Even with all this strength loaded into these morning picks, there exist a few methods you can totally undermine yourself if not attentive. Observe. These 3 morning picks are reliable for most attempting to back their kidneys, but there are certain cases where you must halt and consult your physician prior to jumping in. If you're managing advanced or end-stage persistent kidney illness, you're in a completely separate arena. At that stage, your kidneys are scarcely managing. And even sound edibles, like small fruits and kernels, can disrupt your potassium amounts. Elevated potassium in your circulation can interfere with your cardiac pattern, and that's not a risk worth taking. So ahead of beginning to load on any of these morning picks, you must obtain your tests reviewed and discuss with your kidney expert. They'll inform you precisely how much potassium you can manage, and if these choices are secure for you. Now, even if you're not at advanced levels, there's still a state called elevated potassium blood, where your potassium elevates. It can occur to any with kidney pressure, and it doesn't constantly display clear signs until matters turn grave. Vegetation-based edibles are typically milder on your kidneys than creature protein, but if your potassium is already raised, even a serving of grain mush or a portion of small fruits can tip you beyond. That's why tailored eating is so vital here. What suits your acquaintance might not suit you, and the sole method to confirm is to review your circulation tests. Here's the core. These morning picks aren't universal fits. They're crafted for broad kidney backing, not as a stand-in for expert guidance. If you've got kidney illness, or you're taking remedies that influence your potassium or phosphorus amounts, you need to include your physician prior to any adjustments. Don't merely improvise based on online views, even if they appear reliable. That noted, for most who desire to better maintain their kidneys ahead of issues arising, these morning picks are a clever step. And there's a single additional component of the picture that many bypass, something basic that can render all we discussed operate even superior, that absent component. It's fluid, but not in the manner most consider it. You've likely heard countless times that you must ingest more fluid for your kidneys, and yes, that's correct. But here's what no one discusses. It's not merely about downing 8 portions daily and done. Schedule truly matters more than most comprehend. Your kidneys require fluid to expel the poisons and garbage these morning picks are assisting you handle. But if you down 3 containers of fluid in 60 minutes, you're merely swamping your setup. Your kidneys can merely manage a certain amount simultaneously, and when you overwhelm them, they can't maintain pace. The garbage simply remains, instead of being expelled as intended. Here's the wiser approach. Distribute your fluid consumption across the day. Sip steadily rather than swallowing it all at once. Consider it as hydrating a greenery. You don't pour a large volume on it and depart. You provide tiny quantities regularly, so the bases can really take in what they require. Now, here's a basic technique that creates a genuine difference. Begin your dawn with a complete portion of fluid ahead of even approaching the morning pick. Your kidneys have been toiling throughout the darkness as you rest, straining circulation, and managing any garbage that accumulated. That opening portion of fluid in the dawn essentially activates your straining setup and initiates motion once more. Then, when you ingest one of these kidney-backing morning picks, your frame is already prepared to handle it correctly. Combining regular hydration with these morning picks enhances all we've addressed. The thread operates superior when your bowels have sufficient fluid to transport things along. The radical fighters move more capably when you're adequately hydrated. The protein becomes utilized rather than converting to garbage that blocks your kidneys. It all synergizes, but only if you're supplying your frame the fluid it requires to occur. And observe, this isn't complex. You don't require an elaborate program or hydration monitor. Merely ingest fluid regularly. Begin your day with a portion and allow your kidneys perform their role. Now, let's integrate all this so you're truly prepared to begin the next dawn. Opening up, grain mush with simmered fruits. This one centers on thread that attaches poisons in your bowels ahead of they ever access your kidneys. Plus, it nourishes the positive microbes that reduce ammonia creation and maintain swelling under control. Next, the small fruit kernel strata. You're obtaining major radical busting strength from those colorants that shield your kidney sifters from radical harm, plus helpful microbes from the curdled milk that bolster the bowel-kidney bond and hold garbage levels minimal. And final, the plant-based clear egg fold. This is your pure protein origin with the lowest phosphorus proportion available, which signifies your developing tissue and vigor, sans hardening your circulation paths, or compelling your kidneys to labor extra. Here's what I require you to grasp. These aren't wonder solutions that'll repair years of harm in a flash. That's not how your frame functions. And anybody claiming differently is promoting something. What these morning picks do is provide your kidneys regular, trackable backing, supported by real investigations from locations like the University of Bergen and the University of Maine. That 18% reduction in uremic poisons from kernels, that's factual. The balanced straining rates from small fruits, that's recorded. The phosphorus decrease from clear eggs, that's research, not promotion. And here's the detail about regularity. Tiny selections don't seem significant instantly. One serving of grain mush doesn't transform your existence, but when you have it 3 dawns weekly for months, that accumulates when you combine it with small fruits and clear eggs and regular hydration. Now you're building practices that truly safeguard your kidneys rather than gradually eroding them. Your kidneys strain more than 200 liters of circulation each day. They're operating without pause if you're attentive or not. The query is, are you providing them the backing they require, or are you complicating their task without awareness? These meals offer a true opportunity to guard kidneys before troubles emerge. These 3 morning picks grant you a genuine opportunity at safeguarding your kidneys ahead of troubles appearing, and that's valued more than any remedy later. Observe, you've got all you require right here to commence safeguarding your kidneys 1 morning pick at once. No speculation, no intricate eating schemes, just 3 reliable choices that truly function.